Wow, friends. So without a doubt, this was the single most popular tutorial request I got coming out of the quarantine. That's right. Today, we're going to learn how to do the classic C-cap. Buckle in. Drex here from DrexFactor.com, teaching you poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to finally teach you that classic cap that we know originally from Yuta's videos back in the day. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work that they do to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. So context here. Near the end of my quarantine series, I knew that I wanted to start teaching people caps, and I did a tutorial specifically showing them how to do this version of caps, where you're basically doing split time, same direction flowers in wall plane, right? Now the thing is that this is not usually the first cap that most people learn. That honor, of course, usually goes to either this move right here or this move right here. Both of these, as it turns out, are also the first caps that were identified. See, way back in the day, there was a Yuta video that was analyzed in a thread on Home of Poi, and there was a French juggler by the name of Damien Boy-Bovier who took these two tricks and noticed that they had enough similarities that he grouped them together into a concept that he called a cap. Cap, of course, stands for Continuous Assembly Pattern, and it's based around the idea that as the hand is moving back and forth along a certain segment of a pathway, the poi can switch back and forth between extension and anti-spin, thus creating a pattern in which the poi switch which driving style they're using. And of course, there's an entire theory now surrounding caps and many variations on it. In fact, I did an entire video explaining the concept as well as the many different ways that it kind of manifests itself that I'll go ahead and link to down in the description. But for today's purposes, you're here to learn those basic caps that started it all. So let's dive into that. Now, just to start with, I want you to start with only one poi. What we're going to go ahead and do with this one poi is train each of our hands individually with it before we try putting them together, yeah? Now, the biggest change between this cap and the one that I taught in that previous tutorial is that it's going to be happening not in wall plane for us, but in wheel plane. That is, it's going to happen in that plane where we feel like we have the poi kind of spinning on the side of us, like a wagon wheel and everything. I'll go ahead and turn towards you so you can see what this looks like from the side here. From the front, it looks like this. Now, you want to start off with the poi in your right hand spinning forwards. And what you're going to do is you're going to imagine that you're going to kind of poke it out as though you're trying to tag somebody in front of you before pulling it back and raising your hand up high. That is, poke it out and bring it up top. Again, poke it out and bring it up top. Now, to go back to the bottom, you're actually going to sweep the poi down and around in a big, long arc. So think poke out, sweep around. Poke out, sweep around, poke out, sweep around, poke out, sweep around. It's helpful to bear in mind that there are only 2 points in this when the poi is pointing away from you. That is when it's going up as well as when it's going down. Those are the only 2 times that you want to have the poi pointing away from you. This is a 2-beat move. So go ahead and practice that just a little bit. Think poke and sweep, poke and sweep, poke and sweep, poke and sweep. See if you can get 10 of these in a row. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to training the left hand. Now, I'm going to go back to facing this direction because I want you to have a better view of what the left hand is doing here. But there's one major difference here. The right hand was spinning the poi forwards. The left hand is going to be spinning it reverse. Big change. And so basically this means that we're going to be doing the opposite movement that we were doing with our right hand. I am going to sweep the poi out away from me to get up top and then poke it away as it comes back down. That is, sweep away going up, poke away going down. Sweep and poke, sweep and poke, sweep and poke, sweep and poke. If it helps, you can always do that sweep in such a way that you just do a full extension in order to get a feel for it and everything. And the poke itself, start from up top, and I really want you to imagine that you're kind of giving it a little bit of a flower petal as it goes down and everything. You're almost like tagging that spot out in front of you. They're like, for I hate to make this comparison, but for those of you out there that are whip crackers, it feels a little bit like you're cracking a whip out in front of yourself, yeah? Okay, so what happens when we try putting these two things together? I'm so glad you asked. We're gonna start off by doing what I would call the hands apart timing for this move, because I think it's going to be a little bit more intuitive. Basically, you're gonna start with your right hand down low near your hips, spinning forwards, and your left hand up top, spinning reverse, yeah? Now the timing for this is split time opposites. That is, you want the poi kind of pushing away from you at the same time here, yeah? Now as you're doing this, I want you to go ahead and feel both of the poi poking away from you and then switch which one is on top and which one is on bottom. Again, poke them away and switch their orientation, yeah? Poke them away, bring the right hand up and the left hand down. Poke them away, right up, left down. Okay, so now how do we swap them back to their original positions? Honestly, this is kind of simple. We just sweep them past each other, almost like we're trying to close a set of scissors and everything, yeah? Imagine that they just whoosh, sweep past each other. If you look straight down the side on this and everything, the motion for this literally could not be easier, right? So think that you're going to go poke away, sweep back, poke away, sweep back, poke away, sweep back, poke away, sweep back. As you look down the side on it and everything, it's poke away, sweep back, poke away, sweep back, poke away, sweep back, poke away, sweep back. Now, if you're like most people, including myself, you almost certainly did something the first time you tried this that felt a little weird. Let me see if this will make sense. As you did the poke away and you came back, you added a little pedal on what should be an extension because it just feels normal now to go ahead and stick in a little beat with the poi as they go past the front of you and everything, right? So this is where things get a little thorny because you actually have to take that beat out. Part of what makes a cap is that we're switching back and forth between anti-spin and extension in this case. We call this a C-cap. So in this case, what I want you to do is do the poke and then just sweep your hands past each other really quickly. See if you can get rid of that pedal by dint of just going really quickly. Poke away, sweep past. Poke away, sweep past. Poke away, sweep past. If you want to, you can always kind of hang out here and do 3 beats on either side, going 3, 2, 1, poke away, 3, 2, 1, sweep past. 3, 2, 1, poke away, 3, 2, 1, sweep past, and then work your way down to only doing 1, 2, poke away, 1, 2, sweep past, 1, 2, poke away, 1, 2, sweep past, and then down to 1, poke away, 1, sweep past, 1, poke away, 1, sweep past, before just going straight to poke, sweep, poke, sweep, poke, sweep, poke, sweep. Yeah? Okay, so I mentioned before that I think of there being 2 timings to these caps. There is the hand apart timing, which we just learned, and then there is the hand together timing, which is really interesting because this is also a poi hybrid. What do I mean by hybrid? Well, if you look really carefully, you'll notice that as one of my hands is doing anti-spin, the other one is doing extension. That is, they're always contrasting a different driving style against each other, yeah? And of course, I've done an entire video on the concept of hybrids as well, so I urge you to check that out, link down in the description. So part of the challenge here is that this is what we would refer to as a polyrhythm hybrid. That is, one of the poi is going to be doing 2 beats, while the other poi is only doing a single beat. The trick is that we can do this in such a way that they do actually mesh up and finish at the same time. So let's see if we can break this one down. Bring both of your hands up high, and remember, your right hand poi should be going forwards, your left hand poi should be going reverse, and I want you to count down 3, 2, 1, push both of your hands away from each other. One of those tricks here is you're also going to need to make sure that the poi both go away from you too. Don't let that right hand poi come around back at you until it gets to the bottom, yeah? Really think that both poi go away and arrive at your bottom. Now from here, you're going to count down 3, 2, 1, and go up. And in this case, it's going to be the left hand poi that sweeps away from you while the right hand poi pokes out and up, right? There's no 2 ways about it. This just feels really strange to start off with, but it will get to feel more intuitive the more you practice it. So from the top, we think 3, 2, 1, go down. 3, 2, 1, go up. 3, 2, 1, go down. 3, 2, 1, go up. Now this is going to mean that whichever hand is doing anti-spin is probably going to have to go through the move just a little bit faster than you would normally be comfortable with. And that's okay. That's going to be something that is going to feel more comfortable over time, but it is also something to drill, because if you are doing your anti-spin in such a way that you're like, you know, hitting yourself as you go up and everything, this is going to be a problem for keeping the move stable. Really try and almost like tilt the plane of the poi in a little bit so it's less likely to hit your elbow as it's going up and down, yeah? All right, so now let's take this from 2, 1, switch, 2, 1, switch, 2, 1, switch, 2, 1, switch. And by now you should be starting to feel the difference in the poi that is doing anti-spin versus the poi that's doing extension. You really are going to feel that that anti-spin poi is having to spin twice as fast as the extension poi in order to keep up and everything, right? And now we go down to ones, thinking 1, switch, 1, switch, 1, switch, 1, switch. And when that gets to feel comfortable, just go straight back and forth between the two. At a certain point, your hands will kind of like figure out how to do this on autopilot and everything. So it will be one of those things that just you'll be able to have your hands go straight back and forth, and the poi will automatically find the timing that they need in order to keep this up, yeah? And of course, one of the truly amazing things that comes out of this is that it's a great way for you to be able to switch both hands back and forth between anti-spin and in-spin. Let me show you what I mean here. This is actually one of my favorite things to pull off as I'm performing these caps for people. So as I'm going back and forth and everything, when I get to either the top or the bottom here, I've got the opportunity to switch out my hands to, instead of moving back and forth along the same segment, moving around in opposites. So if I go off the top here and I let my right hand keep going the way it's been going, I can switch into these together opposites anti-spin flowers, right? And of course, when they reach the top, I can switch right back. I also have the option of going the direction that the left hand wants to, that is all the way back around me and everything when I get to the top, and that'll get me into a pair of extensions. So I can go anti-spin following the right hand back, or I can go extension following the left hand back. I'm switching my hands back and forth between going together and then in opposites, together, and then in opposites. I think that that transition looks so cool. Cool, so let me show you all that right quick in slow motion. Awesome. So I hope this helped and it connected some dots for some of y'all out there playing around with your caps. Please show me your version of this trick. Post video to Instagram or Facebook and use the hashtag DrexFactorPoi, or tag me in your stories. I am DrexFactor on Instagram and DrexFactorPoi on Facebook. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe so that other people can find these videos too. And hey, if you're digging on caps, you should really check out my Beyond the Basics course on my learning site at learn.drexfactor.com. We talk about caps in that course as well as some applications for them, being able to transition back and forth between them and polyrhythm hybrids and everything. So I think it's an amazing course, and if you want to further your knowledge on this topic, you should go check it out and use the promo code CAPS to get yourself a discount on that course. Go check it out. And of course, a huge thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. They are the reason that this video and all the videos on this channel exist. Thank you all so much for making this channel possible. If you are watching these videos and you're digging the work that I'm doing and would like to sign up to support that work, I would really appreciate it. I understand if you don't have the means, but if you do, please head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. You can get early access to all of my content, as well as a say in what topics I tackle in the future and some cool behind the scenes stuff too. So you should go check that out.